People often say the Middle East cannot live in harmony, that the conflict there is ancient, tribal, and ultimately inevitable. But that explanation is far too simple, and it's fundamentally wrong. It ignores the real modern forces that drive instability. Today, we're moving beyond the stereotypes to ask the real question. Why has peace been so difficult in the Middle East? The answer isn't one thing, but many overlapping forces: colonial history, authoritarian governance, and foreign intervention. To find the path forward, we have to understand the structures that have repeatedly undermined coexistence for over a century. We begin with the map. Much of the region's current instability is rooted in the collapse of the Ottoman Empire after World War I. In 1916, British and French diplomats drew lines on a map to divide the region into mandates, often with little regard for local realities. New nations were formed that grouped disparate communities together, or split historical ones apart, creating states that lacked deep-rooted legitimacy. When a state's borders don't reflect the identity of its people, the government often spends more time maintaining control than building peace. These borders became the stage for long-term territorial disputes and national questions that remain unresolved to this day. The second factor is internal. It is the struggle for power and the nature of governance within these states. In many countries, power has historically been concentrated in the hands of a small elite, leaving little room for inclusive politics. When institutions like courts and parliaments are weak, there is no trusted mechanism to resolve disagreements peacefully. Repression and corruption build grievances over time. When citizens feel they have no voice, political tension can quickly turn into civil conflict. Peace requires a social contract where people feel safe and heard. Without that trust in the state, the door to instability stays wide open. This leads to our third factor: the way religion and identity are often used as tools in political power struggles. It is a common myth that different groups fight simply because they belong to different faiths. In reality, it's about power. Sectarian identities, Sunni, Shia, Christian, and others, have coexisted for centuries, but they are easily weaponized by elites. By framing a struggle for resources or land as a holy war, leaders make compromise feel like an existential threat to one's community. When identity becomes a shield against the other, the common ground needed for peace is buried under layers of fear. But no country in the Middle East exists in a vacuum. Geopolitics is our fourth, and perhaps most complex factor. Due to its vast energy reserves and its role as a crossroads for global trade, the Middle East has long attracted foreign intervention. Major powers and regional rivals often use local actors to fight their battles. These proxy wars make peace incredibly difficult to achieve. Peace is harder to achieve when the people fighting aren't the ones making the final decisions, and when the stakeholders are thousands of miles away. The strategic importance of the region means that local peace often depends on a global consensus that is rarely reached. Beneath the grand strategies of states lies the daily economic reality of the people. This is our fifth factor. The region has one of the world's highest rates of youth unemployment. This creates a fertile ground for frustration and recruitment. Wealth inequality and a lack of basic public services make people feel that the current system isn't working for them. Despair doesn't start wars, but it makes the call to arms feel like a way to regain dignity. Peace is hard to sustain without economic hope. When a region's economy is built on a single resource, it often fails to create the broad middle class needed for stable, lasting peace. Finally, we must acknowledge the invisible weight of the past, the psychological cycle of war and trauma. Decades of conflict have left deep scars. Many families have lived through multiple wars, displacements, and the loss of loved ones. Trauma isn't just a personal memory, it becomes a collective narrative. It breaks the trust needed to see the other as a partner for peace. Peace is more than just a piece of paper. It requires the slow, painful process of healing communities that have known only fear for generations. With all these challenges, it's easy to lose sight of the most important truth. The Middle East is not one single story. The region is a tapestry of over 400 million people, each with their own hopes, dreams, and definitions of a good life. From burgeoning tech sectors to ancient artisan traditions, there is a powerful drive for progress and connection that often goes unreported. Millions of people of different faiths live side by side in harmony every day. They aren't waiting for peace. They are living it. To reduce this vast, vibrant region to a single story of violence is a profound mistake. It ignores the resilience of the human spirit. So, is peace in the Middle East impossible? No. But it remains difficult because the structures that generate violence are still in place. To build lasting peace, we must strengthen the structures that protect coexistence, inclusive governance, fair economics, and trust. It requires a commitment to building a new foundation, one stitch at a time, one reference of trust at a time. The path forward is long and the obstacles are real, but the people of the region have shown time and again that they are ready. It is not that harmony is impossible. It is that harmony has been repeatedly undermined. It is time we start building it together. Thank you for watching and for looking deeper into the complexities of our world. Please subscribe for more balanced perspectives.